I'm Chris.
And I'm Gina.
And we are Hollywood Haunters. I bid you welcome, children.
Wow.
Alright, I just chopped a hole in this wall. Perfectly good wall. Now it has a hole in it. I'm actually cutting these for the TVs. So what I did is I've removed the framing, measured my TV. Now I'm going to go back in with framing and kind of box it in so it has a little place it can sit. And then I'll pad out some little boards that go along the back to hold it in. It was a lot easier for me to just build these walls, not knowing, what I was going to do. And then I can just always come back in and customize it. Okay, so here is what it looks like with all the framing all finished. I added these blocks so that the TV would rest on here, and then this is just some of the loop of half of the Velcro that had the adhesive on one side. So I stuck it on there just so it kind of helped protect the edge of the TV. It's a little bit bigger up here than what it needed to be, and it's also a little bit bigger on the sides than the TV that we got. We do TVs in the walls like this for a lot of trade show projects that we have where people want to advertise like a product for Halloween and for haunt stuff. I know that a lot of you like to do like the little apparitions in the screen, or maybe put the screen vertically in a doorway and stuff. So this is one way that's a great way to show you guys how to do this, or how we do it. But I know there are some other like cool mounts and things like that that you can do, like if you're going to mount the screen on the front side of the wall panel. But to try to get as nice a clean edge and hide as much of the TV as you can, just showing the screen, or if maybe you need to make the screen that you have a little bit smaller, this is a really cool way to do this. Sometimes though, if you need to hear the sound from it, depending on what TV it is, you may have to add like a vent. In our case, we wanted to find a TV that had an audio jack, and we could plug in some speakers and mount them up above in those little vents that we made in the ceiling. But it's funny, unfortunately, on the TVs that we chose, we actually got them from Costco. We found out later that they didn't have that jack. It's one of the reasons why I think we're going to actually return them. For our case, so we actually lucked out because you could hear the TV. We just turned it up really loud and you could hear it still good enough in the trade show. But in a lot of trade shows, there's always music playing and noises and stuff, so you don't really hear the TV anyway. And also too, you run the risk of annoying the booth that's next to you with all your noise and stuff. But for haunt reasons, I think that this will work really good. So we'll just stick the TV in there, and you just take a piece of wood, screw it over the framing, and it holds it right in. I'll show you kind of how I had to make our little brackets. We kind of match the shape of the TV by cutting little angles on the 1x3, and then I used plywood too. A lot of times when you're screwing into 1x3 pine, it cracks and stuff like that. So if you can use 3/4 inch plywood or something like that, you can screw as many times into it as you want to, and you don't run the risk of it cracking and your TV falling through. So I'll show you guys right now. Okay, so I got the brackets on here, and you'll see what I was talking about earlier is I tried to kind of match the contour of the TV. And then one thing I'll note here is this framing that we usually use is 2.5 inches wide, and then you usually have the thickness of the luan, which is 1/4 inch. Now, you'll notice that this framing in here that I added for this TV is a little bit thicker. And what I did is that's because I wanted to match the thickness of the TV itself, so that when I put these brackets on here, it didn't put any kind of pressure on the TV. So what that means is I actually bought a piece of wood that was wider than the TV, and then measured the thickness of the TV and ripped these pieces of wood down in the table saw to match the thickness of the TV. And you'll notice just like that. The guy could even put a piece of cloth or some kind of material in here to even be a little more gentler on the TV, but there's not, like I said, there's not a lot of pressure on here, so this works just great. Now what I'm going to do is, one of the reasons why we chose this TV is because it had this USB port. So what we can do is we can upload videos or an apparition of a ghost or whatever you want onto there, and then this particular TV will repeat. It has the option to repeat whatever media is on that. And now not all TVs, I learned, have that option. A lot of them will have the USB port, but they will not have the ability to repeat. So when you go to buy a TV, as far as I know, Samsungs are good at doing it, and possibly the Sonys as well, but that's something to check. Next, I'll install my little 64 gig USB drive here with a couple of videos we stuck on there. Now we're in the front of this thing, and another thing to note is sometimes, depending on where the receiver is on the monitor, you may have to drill a little hole so that the remote can talk to the TV. In this case, there actually is a place that I was able to put this remote, and I could get it to work. So right about there. This is saying no files. That's not a good thing. So here's USB drive insert take 2. Hopefully there's something on here. Okay, so we'll try this again. We'll hit enter and then see what pops up here. So it looks like I do have some videos on there. So we just hit enter again. It's loading the thing. Now you see how loud it is out here. So you can hear it pretty well, and I mean obviously it's open, but the sound goes through these wall panels pretty well. We'll turn this down so the neighbors aren't hearing Gina in stereo here.
Some driveways. Mulch, leaves.
But what's really cool about these, like I said, you want to make sure that it has this option. So if you take like a USB in to go shopping, you just want to make sure it can repeat. So you hit tools, and then this box pops up, and then you'll see the repeat there. You just have to scroll down. In my case, point down. You make it go to repeat, and then you just make sure you hit enter, and it'll ask you, do you want to just repeat one file or all? In this case, all. After you get that set, you just hit exit, and that's it. Now every time a video starts, it will show that little header, tell us the title and that kind of thing, and then it should disappear after a while. Another thing to point out is, you'll notice when we figured out the size to cut this hole, we measured the inside dimension of this picture itself. So I just took a measuring tape, ran it from the inside edge of the black framing on the TV across to the other side, and then did that for the width and the height. I might have given myself 1/8 of an inch on top and bottom, and then both sides. So I might have minused a whole quarter, but I can't remember. I think 1/8 of an inch will do it. But anyway, what it does is it gives you a nice clean edge. You don't know that there's like a black part of the TV back there. But yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. We just need to age the window framing a little bit more and make it look more run down. But that is our little haunted window. I'm sure many of you guys have a lot more scarier, cooler images you could stick in your picture in the wall. Something a little more frightening than Hollywood Haunter videos. But that is how we do it. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching another video. And I hope that was helpful for you. Now I'm going to make some popcorn and sit here and maybe put a movie in. Ooh, Actually, I think I'm going to pack the TV up and put it back in the box. It's kind of getting cold. See you guys later.